two friends who you wouldn't expect to see at the same time. Democratic Congressman Khanna of California and a guy who's not in California, Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida. Neither shy, very smart. Hey, guys, first off, start with you, Congressman Khanna. How do you explain how much you like this guy? You told me off camera. You and Matt get along.
We do get along. We work on common issues. We work to get PAC money out of politics. We both believe that lobbyists shouldn't be running this place. We both believe that we shouldn't be in foreign wars. Obviously, we disagree on issues, but we actually engage in dialogue, and we even hang out.
Congressman, I don't know if you know it, but Congressman Khanna did not support Donald Trump, and you did. He supported Bernie Sanders. When did you realize you could still work with them, that you came into the same class and you can get some stuff done?
Brian, so many of the challenges we face in Washington don't just pit the red team against the blue team. They're generational challenges. How do we ensure that America defeats China to win in the 21st century? How do we build a technical working class of people able to survive? How do we ensure that we don't waste the blood and treasure of our country in wars in the Middle East? And what's unique about this political realignment that I think Donald Trump had something to do with, that Bernie Sanders had something to do with, is that you can actually have right-wing populists and left-wing populists working together.
Right.
And sometimes it is the establishment against the rest of us. Khanna has made me a better congressman because he doesn't take money from lobbyists or PACs. Most members of Congress get most of their money from lobbyists, PACs, and special interests. Because of Roe's inspiration, I'm the only Republican who won't take any lobbyist or PAC money.
And I think a lot of times...
Let me return the compliment to Matt. When we were trying to end our involvement in Yemen, and when we were trying to make sure that we didn't get into Iran, Matt went against people in his own party, in his own leadership, to stop those wars. And if I was just trying to put together a coalition on the left, we would never have made the progress in Yemen. We would have never made the progress in stopping the intervention in Iran. So people said, why are you working with Matt Gaetz? I said, well, if you care about stopping wars overseas, look at what he's doing.
Right, absolutely. All right, you ready for rapid fire? Here's something you agree on, ending forever wars. Matt, why?
Because America is too special, and we ought to focus our resources on our people and focus on the strategic threats to ensure that we are a successful and prosperous country going forward.
Congressman Khanna, you just want us out of Afghanistan, right?
Yes, I do.
All right. Next, something you disagree on, immigration. Congressman Gaetz, what do you think?
I do not believe that we ought to have a porous border. I think we ought to have rule of law. I think that the asylum process was improved greatly by President Trump, and I'm worried that Joe Biden's reforms are actually creating a great deal of insecurity in our country.
Congressman Khanna, how do you differ?
I believe in borders, but I believe that we need to uphold our rule of law on asylum, and that means that when young children come here, we treat them with respect and have them go through the process. But obviously, I believe that we need to have borders and enforce borders in this country.
All right, so you differ. Marijuana reform, you both agree. How, Matt?
I do not believe that the federal government has been a good steward of marijuana policy. I'm speaking to you from Florida. I believe in state-based approaches. That's what our federalist system promises. And I hope Khanna will join me in moving the Biden administration on marijuana, because so far, the Biden administration's only coherent policy on marijuana is firing staffers who used marijuana.
You going to help them? Roe?
I've criticized the administration for that. I agree with Matt that that was a wrong decision. I mean, we shouldn't be firing young people who use marijuana once, and it actually has an impact most negatively on actually black and brown Americans who face incarceration, and it's one of the reasons we have mass incarceration in this country. So I agree that we ought to move towards decriminalizing and legalizing marijuana.
Now, hold your ears. Donald Trump agrees with you on the next one, Roe. This is bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. He deserves a lot of credit for it. Matt, you're into that. So is Roe. Democrats and Republicans bring the manufacturing back. What are you doing about it?
Well, I'm hopeful that we're able to work together on this because it's not an issue that lends to a red versus blue dynamic. You see, Roe represents Silicon Valley, so he knows a lot about job creation in the modern era. And I actually think we can do a lot in the energy space and in the clean economy space to work right alongside Democrats to ensure that America is splendid and wonderful for generations to come.
You think America, Roe, is willing to spend more to build it here?
We need to. I mean, that's the real competition with China. Are we going to lead in AI? Are we going to lead in cybersecurity? Are we going to lead in the energy markets of the future? And by the way, it shouldn't all be concentrated in Silicon Valley and Boston. Why aren't we developing manufacturing capability in rural America, in the Midwest, in the South? And that's an area that I've worked with Matt Gaetz, and I think that can be an area where we work in a bipartisan basis.
Last question. Do you feel pressure and consternation from your party leadership when you work across the aisle? Matt, you first.
I have been criticized for my work with Roe, but I'm proud of it because at the end of the day, our team isn't just the Republican caucus or the Democrat caucus. Our team is the American people, and I have gotten criticism from leadership for it, and I don't mind it at all because I'm deeply proud of the work we've done together to stop wars, to build a manufacturing base in this country, and to make sure we win generational challenges like the battle against China and climate change.
15 seconds. He took a lot of your time, Roe. Real quick.
Well, I'm deeply proud of the work, too. And you can look at my Twitter feed probably right now. I'm getting criticized. Anytime I do anything with Matt, they say, well, why are you doing that? Are you supporting his positions? And that's what we got to get over in this country. I get criticized when I come on Fox News. Come on, we got to talk to each other. We got to work together in concrete ways to help move this country forward. That's
what we do in everyday life. Why not in Washington? Guys, I hope people are inspired and you end up in leadership in the not-too-distant future. Thanks so much. Ro Khanna, Matt Gaetz. Go out and grab a beer, and I don't want the taxpayers to pay for it. It's got to come out of your pocket, okay?
Thanks, Brian. We'll make sure that's the case.
Yeah, make it Matt's pocket.